Hey everyone, and welcome, focused learners, to this explainer. Today, we're taking a virtual trip over to Japan to dig into a really fascinating piece of local lore. It's known as the Seven Wonders of Nanma, but we're going to zero in specifically on the absolutely captivating fourth episode of this regional legend, the mystery of the Kitamaki Jizo, or the North-Facing Jizo. We're going to break down exactly what makes this historical anomaly so incredibly special.
But before we look at the historical facts, I want you to imagine something for a second. What happens when a stone statue, a sacred, stationary object, actively refuses to follow the rules? I mean, just imagine a spiritual artifact that defies conventions so strongly it literally moves on its own to break tradition. Well, that is the exact mystery we're unraveling today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The Stubborn Stone Statue.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the statue right in the center. You can see it there, adorned in its traditional red bib, surrounded by others. According to the local records of the Nanma region, this exact statue was originally enshrined facing south, and that's absolutely the customary expected direction for figures like this. But over time, it mysteriously just turned itself to face the north. And get this, it wasn't just a one-time thing like the ground settling or shifting. The legend actually says that no matter how many times the local people physically stepped in and corrected the statue's orientation, pointing it back to the proper southern direction, it always returned to facing north. It is such a fantastic piece of eerie folklore, right? A statue so stubbornly dedicated to its chosen direction that it seemingly corrects its own alignment against human intervention. And here, you can see the unassuming wooden shrine building that actually houses this very Kitamaki Jizo today. Honestly, it looks quiet, rustic, kind of ordinary. You'd probably walk right past it. But hiding behind those sliding doors is the ultimate hook of this whole local legend. The townspeople claim that because of its deeply rebellious nature, this specific statue can grant absolutely any wish you ask of it.
Let's move on to Part 2, a rare Japanese phenomenon.
Let's step back from the eerie magic for just a second and look at the actual hard facts surrounding this orientation. 400. To put that number into perspective for you, there are countless Jizo statues scattered across all of Japan. They're everywhere, watching over travelers, children, and communities. But out of all of those thousands upon thousands of figures, it's estimated that only about 400 face north, so it is an extremely rare occurrence.
Usually, we see the traditional alignment, which is facing south. That is the standard practice for honoring these figures so they can receive sunlight and positive energy. Facing north is a completely rare, rule-breaking exception, and that makes the Kitamaki Jizo a massive cultural anomaly, basically throwing a deeply entrenched cultural rule right out the window.
So, why do it? That brings us to Part 3, the power of defiance.
Seriously, why would a statue need to face north so badly that it literally defies its creators? Well, if we look at the topography and the roads of the Nishizawa town area, a really touching, practical explanation starts to emerge. The statue faces a northbound road purely to stay close to and watch over the local people passing by. It essentially prioritized the safety and proximity of its people over the strict, ancient rules of tradition.
So the crucial point is this: resisting the norm requires immense energy. In local spiritual logic, facing the wrong way against the heavy, historical weight of Southern tradition generates tremendous spiritual friction. It's basically like swimming upstream against centuries of custom, all just to be closer to the community.
And that brings us to this incredibly powerful quote from our sources. Going against the direction yields strong divine favors. The core belief here is that because the Jizo expends so much energy resisting the norm to watch over the people, it accumulates immense divine power. That spiritual friction actually transforms into the exact energy required to grant those impossible wishes. The defiance itself is literally the source of the magic.
All right, let's wrap things up with Part 4, the March Gathering. It's really important to transition from the ethereal folklore of the past back to the living, breathing human element that sustains this legend today. The community honors their rebellious protector every single year. Every March, the shrine doors are finally opened up. Local residents gather, a community festival is held, food is brought and shared among all the neighbors, and collective prayers are offered. It's just a beautiful demonstration of how a piece of ancient, rule-breaking folklore actively unites the townspeople right now in the modern day.
We've seen how defying expectations created a symbol of hope, immense power, and lasting community for this town. So I want to leave you with this thought to ponder today. If breaking the mold and resisting the norm gave you the power to grant just one wish, What would you ask for? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep seeking out the fascinating stories around you, and hey, never be afraid to chart your own path.